Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you guys for your time. My name is Corey Dickerson. I am the Midwest Technical Sales Rep for Wolf Tools, a division of Uzin Utz North America. We're also a partner. One of our sister brands, one of our co-brands is Pullman, and we are located at booth 2128. So if you have any questions afterwards, come on by and see us, and we can discuss a little bit further about the Wolf Tool brand. What we're going to discuss today is we're going to go over removal and prep, as it's two very important parts for what you guys do in the hardwood world. We design with the Wolf brand. I like to say we have tools to remove, prep, and tools to install when it comes to flooring. One of our big things is our turbo stripper, which I don't have here now. I have our B-turbo or our bi-turbo, and we're going to discuss the processes that we use this machine on. When you're talking about removing 5 1/8 engineered hardwood, this is one of the really good machines that can do that without being a ride-on machine. Talking about residential areas, this can get in there, this can do a lot of your jobs for you. With 220 power, which is accessible in a lot of residential situations, this makes for a very good machine. What we have here is 550 pounds. I think it's 553 pounds of machinery here. Wolf makes module machines, module meaning they can come apart, so weight comes off. These side weights come off, and it makes it easier to move around. Not only that, a machine like this, we have what's called a flex chassis on it. So by removing these bolts here, you now have a machine that can flex on the floor, meaning the front end stays down and it stays in contact with whatever you're removing, while the rear end of it actually will go over any debris that's on the floor. So it makes it flexible, and then the blade stays down. Really key is trying to get as much adhesive off the floor as possible when removing engineered glue down hardwood. You're going to have that second step, which we'll get into on the prep side, but what you really want to do is try and remove as much as you can on that first pass. The first pass is so important for productivity, and what we have here is we have these two bolts here, so we have a pitch adjustment. So we can adjust the pitch of the blade so that we're also removing and taking up as much of that adhesive as possible, all in one pass. I have heard when you're working over a softer substrate like a hard plywood or an OSB board, a lot of guys are pretty cautious when it comes to machines like this because they tend to dig into that subfloor. Well, what we do is we take the blade, we flip the blade over, so the beveled edge is it's going up, and now you can separate the wood from the hardwood from the plywood. A machine like this isn't ramming action, so it doesn't create that vibration on the floor that most of these machines will do, and it causes them to bounce, and then that will make the tear out harder. This oscillates, so it's got this circular motion that gets under the adhesive, and it actually will start to separate the adhesive from the subfloor. Another good thing with a machine like this is variable speed. So when you're looking for removal machines, you want to make sure you have something that has that variable speed, because now you can slow the machine down and it can be a little bit more aggressive, and then as it's starting to get through, you can speed it up and now it can plow on through. Very, very important. We do have another machine, our signature machine, our turbo stripper, doesn't have this variable speed, but it's a little bit lighter weight, so it's a little bit better. You can handle it a little bit better. This one you cannot. It is self-propelled, so once you pull the trigger here and you get your speed going, it can move on through, and it makes it so much easier being self-propelled as opposed to our traditional way of standing up and scraping the floor up or pry bars. And I know a lot of guys still want to use that technique, but it makes it a little hard on your installers who are trying to remove the floors. Those guys don't like it. We can actually separate this, so you'll have the handle the front part and the back part. So you have 3 pieces and then you have your weights. So you can move it around pretty easy. The heaviest part on this is about 130 pounds. So when we're talking removal, like I said, the key is we want to get as much up in that first pass as possible. So we want to have the floor with, especially over concrete, we want to try and get as much of that adhesive up in that first pass. After that, after we have done the removal and we had the adhesive residue remaining, a lot of us, I used to do it with my sons. I'd have my sons with their stand-up scrapers scraping floors, and they absolutely hated it, but I'm the dad, so they do what I tell them to do. But we would have the stand-up scrapers, and then we would go to prep the floor for our install. Well, we had our grinders, we had our buffers, we had all those good things. I just found it very, time labor was just killing us. We found a different way to grind floors, and that we got away from the 7-inch hand grinders, we got away from all those good things. We started using a stand-up grinder like this one here. Stand-up grinders will make your install or your prep go so much faster, so much easier. I have a saying, I want my guys to want to come to work, not have to come to work. When you have to be down on your hands and knees, when you're down on your knees and you're using a 7-inch hand grinder all day, guys don't want to come back to work the next day. Your body takes a big blow on that. If I can do that by standing up, and I can open up my pores, give me a CSP of 1, CSP of 2+, just by using a stand-up grinder, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I'm gonna get really good productivity. I'm gonna get a consistent down pressure of weight. When we're using our hand grinders, the most weight is in our core or around us here, and we're just grinding, but as we reach out, we lose that down pressure on those hand grinders, so now we have an uneven grind. Also, we have guys that they'll lift that grinder up a little bit, now we have dust everywhere. Our customers really want dustless environments, right? So why not have it where I can stand up with a shroud that's maintaining my dust, and this machine's working at about 1,500 RPM, so it's creating a dust flow through my vac system, through my pre-separator, and then through my vac system, my HEPA system here. That keeps me all dustless for the most part. I may have some dust left on the floor, but the prepping part is so important that I've got to get that CSP so that if I'm doing another glue down, got to have somewhere for my glue to grow legs into. I got to have that pores. I got to have that concrete pores to grow those legs. Machines like this are lifesavers. I've had guys fight me on these because you can have a hand grinder. Your hand grinders are going to be 5,800, 6,500 RPM. They're going to work faster. They're going to circulate faster. They're going to be, yes, that's 100% true. This is 1,500 RPM, so it's going to be a slower. But like I said before, I've got a consistent 88 pounds of down pressure, and I'm standing on a job site, working with my earbuds in, enjoying a couple of tunes, making life so much easier for my installers, working in a pass, or I can swing it left, right. Really cool things about this machine in itself is easy tilt, just a lever here, handle will drop down, you can put it in position, really easy there. Another thing is, while we're working with this, we have control joints, or any like bumps or humps in the concrete. This actually flexes with the concrete. So it gives you this flexible head on here. So now when we're grinding, we're getting that even grind instead of that bite into grind. So if I've got a control joint, your traditional grinders like this, or even your hand grinders, they're gonna go side in. So now you're gonna be damaging your segments or your grinding discs. When you have this type, it's gonna go on top and grind down. So now you got an even grind, all of your segments are being used properly, all at the same time. And this is just a wedge fit technology. So I don't need a screwdriver, wrench, or anything. I can just put them in, slide them in, tap them in, and they're locked in. Easy. The next thing with something like this is it also has the capabilities of being an edger. So once we get this, I got this little TriStar back here. Let me take this off. We get the TriStar off here, loose this up, and now I've gone from a stand-up grinder to a stand-up edging grinder to where now my handle and my wheel are away from the wall, and I can go straight down this wall and grind and get about 5/8 of an inch from the wall with an easy stand-up grinder. It's gonna get me a CSP of 1, 2 plus, depending on the segments that I'm using and the pressure that, or the time I'm allowing it to grind in a certain spot. I can work at a slower pace, or I can speed this thing up. So we've got glue removal and we have the pores being open at one time, and a guy standing up doing this job all by himself. Floor prep, so important, but having the right tool for floor prep is even more important. And having the guys that are wanting to do the floor prep to come back, it just keeps getting even more important. This is an easy fix for the hand grinders and being down on your knees working that preparation portion of your install. What I've done in the past, I will take this, go into a pre-separator, and being in the hardwood, you guys are very familiar with pre-separators. This is a no-brainer. I've got guys who've tried to fight me on buying a pre-separator. I don't care, it doesn't have to say wolf on it, but if you have one, they are lifesavers when it comes to this guy. If you have HEPA vacs, you understand the expenses that come with them. The filter systems in these are very, very expensive. Because you've got 2 filters here, and the filters in here are gonna be about a total of let's say about $700. Getting something like this will save the life of these filters. We have calculated close to about 10 times over. What does that mean? That means if I'm just grinding concrete, no adhesive, and I'm just allowing dust to go through this, if I'm doing this 7 days a week, these filters may last me about 3 months. If I'm running this through a pre-separator, these filters will last me 20, 25 months. Whom are you talking to? The guys may not tell you this because they want to sell you filters. Those are smart guys, I guess. But I want you on the job and I want the guys being productive, so this is the way to go. Simple trash bag, take the dust out. This is going to collect 95% of the dust. The heavy particles are going to go into here. It creates like a funnel or a vortex. So it drops all the heavy in here. All the thin stuff, the light stuff comes through here and it gets caught up in your filtration system. Vac like this, it has 99.995 efficiency. With dust coming through, the pre-separator saves the filters. It also saves your Longo Pack bagging system. All works in together. This type of vac also has a lowering system. So we can drop this thing for transport. Now it's ready to transport. The center of gravity have dropped on it, and it's less likely to fall over in the van when the guys are moving it. Get to site. Woohoo, that was fun. Get to job site, we can lift it back up. And she's ready to work now. 2 motors on something like this. We have 2 motors on here. So we've got a total of 206 CFM. I think the OSHA recommendation is 25 CFM for every inch on a hand grinder. So if you're working a 7-inch hand grinder, that's 175 CFM, this works. I think for stand-up machines, I think it's 70 CFM, so you're still in the right range. And you can actually run 2 machines off of this one vac. Reverse airflow, so this is your tapper. Once the green light comes on, it'll tell you it's working. When the red light comes on, it tells you to clean the filter. Cleaning the filter is very important because if you don't, it will start backing up and it will not allow this to work and it will not allow this to push through, and then the dust will come from under the shroud, and we've just eliminated everything we tried to prevent. Once the light comes on, the orange light will show up. We like to cover That's why we have this little plug here, cover here. And then we just hit the flap a couple times, and what it does is reverses the air. So it shakes this filter, which shakes the conical filter, which dumps the dust into the bag, to the bagging system. At that point, when we're ready to, if the bags get a little bit full, what we want to do then is we have zip ties. So what we do is we take 2 zip ties, put a double, one on top, one on bottom, cut in between, pull it down. If you guys have any kids, you know what a diaper genie looks like. That's what it does. Same thing. It just keeps the bagging system continuing going. How long the bagging system, I don't know. I'm sorry, how many bags you get out of it, I don't know. I know it's 100 feet, but if you guys are doing small bags, it could last a long time. That whole system worked for me for years. I didn't really use this big guy because I didn't need it, but I was doing a lot of vinyl removal, not hardwood. If I was doing something with hardwood, I would have something that was a lot heavier than the machine that I used in the past. This will work fantastic. It has worked. We have a guy in Texas who we've moved so many units down there. These guys love this over slab and over plywood or OSB board. Any questions? Sure? Yes. My decision would be square footage. What kind of square footage am I working with? That's very important because we want productivity. We want to know, yes. Residential, can you get a ride-on in there? And it also depends on the support system. I mean, are you taking a ride-in over slab or, you know, it could be a little bit weight. We have a ride-on machine, our Independence, it's 2,200 pounds. We've put it in the house, it's worked great. I would really try and put this into as many residential situations as possible because it's easier to maneuver. And I'm gonna have a lot bit more control over this than I will my ride-on machine. You get in those smaller areas, the tear out becomes a little bit difficult. You're working with a machine like this, you're talking 200, if you're just talking straight glue down over a slab, 220 square feet an hour up to about 340, 350. I've had guys tell me they got through a floor in 500 square feet an hour. My average, what I've done was right in between, it's about 220 to 350. So you gotta weigh that in. Our transportation, we gotta get a trailer for our ride-on, how we're gonna get it in, all those things start to I start thinking about all those things when I'm talking about productivity and making a little money on the job. Good question though, thank you. Anyone else? Whoa, not you. This guy back here first. Any other flooring you have? Porcelain is always so, yeah. Natural stone is so hard because it's so porous, and the thin set tends to grab a little bit tighter. I've used it on quarry tile. I took a sledgehammer, just kind of dropped it in certain plastic spots, kind of broke up that tension grab, the surface tension grab, and then we went right in and it worked great. I'm not going to say it can't do it, but I'm also not going to say it's a walk in the park with it. Yeah, it'll blast through all that. Any soft goods, boop, done. Glue down hardwood, yes. Nail down, yeah. But the fasteners will start to eat at the blades. So that's the end. But all the other soft goods, yes. Handle up and down? No, it's more tilt. So, so we can tilt it here. Yeah, I operate about right here, I'm like 6'3"-ish. So I kind of operate here and keep it on my hip a little bit. I I've used this thing with one hand like a Swiffer. Like the Swiffer, just, it's so easy to operate. Yeah, well, the height, you know, some of us don't have height, so yeah. It can go, I think it has, there we go. I think it's, yeah, we can get it down there, but yeah, that's the adjustments on it. This one has an adjustable handle as well. So it's got a couple bolts back here. It's got 3 other slots. You can drop this handle down on you. It also, it's something I didn't mention, it has this little bump here. So when we have our reverse button, we can speed it up in reverse, and if it gets too busy on a guy and it hits him, it will automatically shut the machine off. So if it comes back on you too fast and it bumps you here, machine shuts off, or you have the safety button here, the quick hit. Any more? More? Any more questions? Any more? You look like you got one. No? No? Okay, all right. Well, thank you guys. If you guys didn't have a catalog, we have more at the booth at 2128 at the Pullman. If you guys have any questions, if you think of something, come on by and see us. We'll be glad to help you guys. Thank you.